right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is Anthony Smoak. Go ahead and check me out on anthonysmoak.com. Definitely hit subscribe here on YouTube. As always, if you learned something, go ahead, hit that like button, leave a comment, and make sure you ring the bell so you get a notification when I drop a new video. So today, we are back in Tableau, and this is part 2 of the series that I started in the first video, where we're going to build out this tile map showing us cases and deaths here per state based upon CDC data. So I'm not going to revisit too much from the last video. Go ahead and check out, easy for me to say, the last video so you can learn where we got the data and how we transformed it using Tableau Prep into the basically how we shaped it into the format that we need to build out this tile map. So I do want to show you, you're going to need this file. So to build out a tile map, and let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit. In order to build out a tile map, you're going to need an abbreviation, right? The state abbreviation, and this row and column that basically helps with the positioning of each state. So, take a look at this, pause the video if you need to, but you're going to have to create a CSV file and, use the information here that you see. So I'm here at Kentucky. I'll go up, use the information here that you see on the video and create this file. So right, Ohio, and all the way down to NYC. So the data set that we use from the CDC has New York City broken out separately from New York. So that's why I added an NYC value for New York City separate than New York. And I add the positioning here for NYC. So build this out. You can call it US tile map. I call it US tile map. And then just to review, this is the CSV that we use Tableau Prep to build out in the last video. So go ahead and, go back and look at that last video so you can arrive basically at this CSV file with our information formatted as such. So once we have those two files, we can import them into Tableau and start building out our tile map. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we are in Tableau, and let's go ahead and connect to our data. So I'm going to connect to a text file, and I'm going to look for US tile map that I just showed you. Let's connect to that. And then I also want to bring in, let's add another text file. And then that's going to be this COVID-19 cases and deaths by state over time pivot. This is the file that we put together in the last video using Tableau Prep. Let's bring that in. And then within this file, I want to make sure I'm grabbing the right one. Yes, it's the pivot. And then we'll bring it out here. Tableau will attempt a join. And so we have to basically set the join condition on these two text files. So what do we want to join on? We want to join on our state abbreviation. So I'm going to go over here, state abbreviation, and then that should be state, and equal is fine. I may have some in the tile map. There may be some territories that don't come into play, and that's fine because I have the equal operator and they're not in our pivot file, but that's okay. I want an equal, and so now I can go into the first sheet, make sure that I have my fields that I need, and we can start building out this tile map. Okay, so we have our clean sheet here. So the first thing we want to take a look at, you see how we have column and row. So you might be tempted to say, hey, let's put the column here on columns and let's put the row on rows, but you'll notice these are continuous. And so it's going to give us this aggregation that we don't want. So let's go ahead. I'm going to Control Z out of these. Let's convert these. So you can do this you can convert these to a dimension, or you can just kind of drag them up here, right? Their measures, change them to dimensions. So now when I drag the column to column, rows to rows, you'll see I have the outline of the United States here. Let's go entire view. And then we just have to basically clean up here. So let's go ahead and do some cleanup. Let's hide this. Let's not show that header. Let's not show this header. And so we have some banding going on here. We'll go here into format. And so that should be in the shading if I change the band size down. Right, so now we are kind of fresh and clean here. Okay, so let's also change the title here. So I'm going to paste this in here. If you want to know what font I'm using Oswald. I kind of like the boldness of it. And we have our little legend here. Our cases are going to be blue and our deaths are going to be in red. So we're just going to put that in the title for now. And so we kind of have this starting point to where we can start building out the tile map. Okay, so now I'm going to look for field name. And one thing you may notice here, so I have, there should be field name and field value. There's field value and there's field name. So in the first video, I think I had these pluralized field names, field values. So I just took off that S here. So it shouldn't matter to you, but it made a little bit of a difference for me, but you just wanted to point out the discrepancy. But regardless, let's go ahead and take field name and drag that to the filters. And then I just want to see total cases and total deaths. I don't want to see new cases and deaths on a daily basis. And we're going to filter for those two. And then I'm going to take the field value and put that on size. And you'll see, all right, we have this box that's going on. And then we can change this to a shape. And then let's make this a box. You can choose any shape you want. I would stick with the square and not choose any of these filled in spaces. So we have our box look going on here. And then I'm going to drag the field name to color, right? Because that's going to indicate cases or deaths. And then I can come in here and I can edit. I want my cases to be blue, but I want my total deaths to be red. Let's go ahead and apply that, say okay. And so these are, right, we have our cases and our deaths kind of right next to each other. So how do we get them to basically align? And so what you can do is you can put, of course, Tableau, love the hacks here. You can put an axis in here. I'm just going to go min 1, and you'll see that forces our total deaths inside of our total cases when we put that axis in here, right? Neat little trick. So let's go ahead and hide. Let's get rid of that header. And then we have to do formatting. Of course, everyone loves formatting in Tableau. So I'll just kind of go down here. So row divider, we don't need any row dividers. Let's turn that off. This shouldn't matter. I think column divider, let's go ahead and, right, that gets rid of that. Great. And then if we go in here to lines, let's go to sheet. And we have grid lines, none. I don't think 0 lines matters. Yeah, we just want to turn those grid lines off, right? So now we have that clean look where we've gotten rid of our lines and our borders. And so let's continue on here. Okay, so now let's put our state on the label, and let's put field value also on the label. And then we can go inside the label here. We can do some formatting. Let's go ahead and put these two next to each other. I'm gonna hit a space and then put a pipe in between the two. And then I kind of like this. Let's a little bigger. So let's go 10 here. And I'm gonna make this a little smaller. Let's go with 7 here. Oops, did it knock me out? 10 and then 7, okay. And then I've been using Oswald as my font. So let's go here. There we go. What does that look like? Okay. We want to bring this up. So let's go to the alignment here. And I want the alignment all the way up. Nothing can stop me, as the song says. And okay, so now we're looking a little better. We just need to format these numbers, as you can see. These numbers aren't correct yet. We need to do some filtering, but we at least want to do some formatting at this point. So let's format our field value. So I'm going to go in here to the field value, and let's go to default properties, number format, And let's do a number custom. I don't want any decimal places, that's fine, but our display units, let's make that thousands. So that will buy us back some space, and these numbers will be smaller when we get to our filters correct. Okay, so let's activate our pages functionality. And what we need to do, we want to take this submission week year. So I don't want to look at this grow by on a daily basis. I want to look at it grow on a weekly basis, right? It'll make the animation go by quicker. So I'm going to bring the submission week year in here. And so what that does is for every data point, it will basically turn each submission date into its corresponding week that it belongs to. And so we're looking at a snapshot of the growth essentially on I think every Monday of the week. And so I also need to take this this first of week and put this on filter and say yes. So we're looking at a snapshot on Monday as this grows, and you'll see I'm going to bring this up here. I'm going to get rid of this, hide that card. You'll see, and let me go in here. We don't want this to be on a year. Let's make this a day. And so now I have this pages functionality. And so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create a calculated field named update date. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go in here. I can create a calculated field. This will help me if I want to know when the max submission date is in the data. So I could say we're going to use a fixed LOD. So we'll say fixed max submission date. Close that off, and then the right brace calculation is valid, and this will be the update date. So this will tell us when the date is updated as of. It's just something to have in our back pocket. We want to have that calculation, and I can add that to the I suppose I could add it to the marks as a detail. So let's take our update date that we just created, and I can add it there as a detail if we want to add it into the tooltip or the title, as it were. So let's go ahead right now and let's fix the tooltip. So you'll see, like, that's not a great tooltip. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you what tooltip I use. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to get rid of this. And then I'm just going to do one of these, cut and paste into here. And what does this look like from a preview standpoint? There we go. So Alaska, and then basically the submission week that I'm looking at is January 27th. And then I'm saying, let's go back to the preview, that the cases outer, the deaths are inner. And so we're at the first data point essentially in our page. So we're going to show 0K. So that's okay. So let's and again, I don't think, there we go. So that should grow. And I know Cali, that number is about right. Sadly, that number is about right for Cali with respect to the number of cases on the outer. And so one thing you'll notice, you'll see I'm trying to hit the inner and it won't let me. So let's go over here to field name and let's move our deaths above cases. And so that will allow me to, you see the number 6,257 cases, and actually that's in millions, so 6 million. I can now move in like 77K deaths. So I couldn't do that if these field names weren't flipped. So make sure that you do that as well. Okay, so how do we get our animation working here? So if you notice, if I hit play, if I'm on the fastest over here and I hit play, it doesn't do anything. And so that's a function of what I'm finding out. If we go into format, let's look for animations and let's turn that off, right? Let's turn the animations off. And so now if I hit play, you'll see how we get the movement by taking that animation off. And so it's moving or growing by a week. Basically, it's looking at a snapshot on a weekly basis, and it is growing. So so we basically have the tile map built out, but just another couple key formats that I want to add here. So you might want to show the actual week in here. So you might think, well, how do I do that? Can I add the day of the submission week year in here? So if I do that, it's going to say all, right? It doesn't give me, I want the week to show up here in the title, but it doesn't do that. So this is key right here. Let's get rid of that, and let's insert the page name, right? Insert that page name. Let's go ahead and format it correctly. Again, I want that to be Oswald. Let's go Oswald, and now let's take a look at it. See, now we have that January 10th, 2022, and it will change. So I get a feel for where I am in the process, right? So that is a key add as well. And we can do the same thing on the tooltip if we wanted to, right? So if I go into the tooltip, we can say insert page name, and then we'll keep this as Oswald. Go down here, just like that boldness, say okay, and now, right, January 10th, 2022, you'll see that date is there. It should be the same on the deaths as well. The only thing, again, even though we added in the update date, right, we put the, where is that? The year, the update date. You know, if we want to show, we can go here to day, and we could go back in here. If you wanted to do something like this, data updated as of, and then you can insert the day. I'm sorry, the day of the update date. You could do something like that, and so that just lets me know that this is the latest date in the data set, if you wanted to add that. So I'm going to take it out, but it's probably, if I were making a dashboard, that's something that I would definitely have somewhere on the dashboard, but we're not doing that. So in any event, here we are. This is the tile map that I've shown you how to build out. So again, review the first video, which shows you where to get the data, how to shape it with Tableau Prep, and then this video has shown you how to build out the animated tile map here using Pages functionality. And so hopefully we get out of this cycle of growth in cases and deaths. Obviously we want that, but just to show you, I also have a version, a tile map version like this, right? So this is basically more of a line graph version, and it's looking at cases per 100,000. So you basically need to attach a population file to the data set that I showed you earlier, but it will build out, and I showed a little bit of this in the first video. So if I make that go quick, even though it is moving quick here, we'll speed it up a little bit here. You can see, right, you get that line graph. And again, these are per 100,000, right? So on any given day, I'm looking at, the cases per 100,000. And so what's surprising as we get into, obviously Omicron here is affecting us. I want to go to the last day here. Stop the movement. Let's go to the last day, and you'll see we have some huge spikes here. NYC, surprisingly, Rhode Island. That's a surprise to me. But in any event, you could build out something like this with a tile map. And actually, in the New York Times, I saw that they had something that looked very, very similar to this. What I built out here. So this is something that you could build. If there's any interest in me showing how to put this together, let me know down in the comments, and I will consider it. But this is just another tile map exercise that you can do. Just to give you a sneak peek, you're basically going to need a state. At a minimum, you'll need a state abbreviation, a state, and then a population estimate. And I'm using that for 2019 that I found probably from census data. So once you get the population estimate for each state, then you can utilize a formula that will give you cases per 100,000. So at a minimum, you need these three. But again, if you need some, if you'd like to learn how to put this together, just leave a comment and like down, down below, and I will consider it. So again, thank you for watching, everyone. This has been Anthony Smoak, taught you how to build out an animated tile map. And tile maps are very useful for showing you data when you don't necessarily need to show, where it can be hard to show individual states or areas because they're small. It basically helps you to see all of the data geographically. So again, this has been Anthony Smoak. Get out there, do some great things with your data. Thanks for watching, everyone.